America's new sixth generation fighter, the F-47. So if there's one thing that the US military does exceptionally well, it's produce aircraft. Like the F-22, I think it debuted, like it's at least 20 years old, the F-22, and it still looks to me, like just visually at least, that it's the best looking fighter jet ever made, in my opinion. And I think in terms of dogfighting, it's probably still the best. I don't think the US military exports the F-22, does it? Like literally won't give it to any other country because it's so good. And, it makes me think, how can you improve something like that? And the F-35, which is also an amazing plane, how do you improve that? But I guess this one, the F-47, with all the technology we have now, like AI, this thing's got to be amazing. Like at this point, do you even need a pilot anymore?
It was the aviation showdown of the decade. A high-stakes duel between two aerospace titans.
Wow, look at that. Is that it? I mean, to be honest, both of these look cool.
Fighting fiercely for the future of American air dominance. Just months ago, the entire NGAD program teetered on the brink of cancellation, overshadowed by the stealthy B-21 Raider and an increasing focus on unmanned drones. Questions swirled. Was the age of manned fighter jets coming to an abrupt end? Would the NGAD be scrapped in favor of a new strategy? But today, after relentless speculation and heated debate, the verdict is finally in. Boeing has triumphantly secured the monumental $20 billion contract to build the F-47, also known as the Next Generation Air Dominance or NGAD fighter. This program breathes new life into America's commitment to manned combat aircraft. And this victory doesn't just mark Boeing's resurgence. It might very well reshape the trajectory of aerial warfare itself. If you followed my channel, you know we've closely tracked the NGAD's journey, a futuristic sixth-generation fighter that's been cloaked in secrecy. This thing is more classified than Area 51 itself, and it's designed explicitly to surpass even the legendary F-22 Raptor. But Boeing's path to victory wasn't easy. Plagued by recent setbacks, Boeing desperately needed this win.
The thing is though, like $20 billion, like that is a lot of money for one program, especially with everything going on in America right now. Like, do you think that this is the best use for that money? Don't get me wrong, military is incredibly important, obviously, but $20 billion, that would pay for a lot of infrastructure. Is this the time? Do you agree with them spending this much on a plane right now? Especially when you've still got the F-22, the F-35, which is still state of the art.
Now, against all odds, they've earned a chance to reclaim their legacy. Yet, questions remain. Could this truly be Boeing's turning point after years of struggle? How many of these cutting-edge F-47 fighters will actually soar into production? And, intriguingly, is the 47 designation just coincidental or a deliberate nod to the current president? Buckle up, aviation fans, because the stakes have never been higher. And this is a story you won't want to miss.
Wow, did the wings actually come out like that?
Pilotphotog.com. We've just seen a glimpse of the NGAD, or what we believe is the NGAD, and it appears to have a white-coated skin, similar to what we've seen in the B-21 Raider. The last time there was a Boeing prototype with a lighter skin, well, that didn't go so well. Hopefully this time is different. Now, since we don't know exactly what the NGAD looks like yet, I'll be using a few 3D models that are a best guess on what we know so far. It's better than looking at a still image for 20 minutes, right? Alright, before we get into the details of the NGAD, let's talk about what this means for Boeing. Winning any defense contract is monumental. It can secure a company's future and ensure stability for employees for decades. And the F-47 NGAD contract is certainly no exception. With an initial value of $20 billion, the full life cycle of the NGAD is expected to push that figure significantly higher, making this one of the most valuable and prestigious military aviation contracts ever awarded.
Let's say that figure goes up to 50 billion. How much of that money goes towards the actual production of the plane, do you think, versus, bribes, let's say? Basically, the money not going to where it's meant to be going. Do you think all of it, is there like checks and balances to make sure the money goes to where it's meant to go?
And let's be honest, for Boeing, this contract could not have come at a more critical moment. The company has faced significant turbulence in recent years, from the highly publicized issues surrounding the 737 MAX to considerable financial losses and ongoing production challenges. These setbacks have quite frankly shaken confidence in Boeing's once sterling reputation. And while it may seem easy to forget, Boeing's capability and resilience shouldn't be underestimated, especially given their strategic merger with McDonnell Douglas back in 1997. Although not without growing pains and issues, this merger ultimately brought extensive defense sector expertise into Boeing, including experience from legendary combat-proven aircraft such as the F-15 Eagle and FA-18 Super Hornet. Now, these platforms not only demonstrate Boeing's long-standing innovation in military aviation, but they also reinforce another reason why Boeing was uniquely positioned to secure the NGAD contract. More on that in a minute. Now,
I wonder why they got the contract as opposed to someone like Northrop Grumman, one of the other major players, especially because Boeing are going through so much controversy right now with all of the plane issues that they're having.
Now, I get it. The skeptics among you might argue that Boeing was chosen merely to spread out defense contracts evenly among the major aerospace players: Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, and of course, Boeing. However, this perspective overlooks Boeing's genuine strengths, extensive, as we've already mentioned, defense portfolio, and proven capability in developing versatile and technologically advanced aircraft. More than just a simple balancing act, awarding Boeing the NGAD contract reflects the Air Force's confidence in Boeing's ability to deliver cutting-edge innovation, cost-effective solutions, and unmatched versatility.
I mean, if the plane actually ends up looking like this, you can imagine a lot of people are going to think it's a UFO or something like that, because it just looks so like sleek. Even though it still kind of looks like a fighter jet, the way the wings are, it does look like an alien spaceship.
That's going to be needed for future air dominance. And here's the other thing you may not know about. The Boeing NGAD prototype has been rumored to have been flying now for 5 years, if not longer.
Really?
In fact, some believe that Boeing's mysterious X-37 has been used as an advanced testbed for the NGAD to evaluate materials or avionics that will ultimately be used in the F-47. At the end of the day, Boeing's win with the NGAD isn't merely a lifeline, it's a powerful statement. This victory represents not just a recovery, but a potential turning point that could place Boeing firmly back at the forefront of military aviation while significantly reshaping its trajectory in the aerospace industry. Now, as you can imagine, the F-47 will be packed with cutting-edge stealth and electronic warfare capabilities, making it nearly invisible to enemy sensors. But while military jets have advanced countermeasures to stay off the grid, your personal data doesn't, unless you take action. Have you ever wondered why you keep getting spam calls, weird emails, or even junk email with your name on it? Your personal data is out there. Alright, now let's take a look at the F-47 itself. The F-47 NGAD isn't just another fighter jet. It's actually the centerpiece of a revolution in aerial combat. Remember, the whole point of the NGAD is to be a system of systems. The F-47 is just the center point of that whole warfighting ecosystem. Designed from the ground up to replace the legendary F-22 Raptor, the F-47 is built specifically to meet the challenges of today's battlefield.
What happens to the F-22 when this F-47 is in full production and use? Do they retire it? Do they use it for lower priority missions? Like, what happens to the F-22, because it's still such an amazing plane? Surely they're not just going to put them in some hangar somewhere and let them like rust away. Like, but if you've got the F-47 and you spent this much money on it, you need to use it to justify that price. So yeah, what happens to the F-22?
What does that mean? Well, while the Raptor was envisioned during the Cold War and was tailored for relatively short-range combat over Europe, the F-47 is basically designed with one mission in mind:
China and Russia.
Dominating the vast expanses of the Pacific theater, where distances can be measured in thousands of miles, not hundreds. One of the most game-changing aspects of the F-47 is its perhaps unique ability to fly both manned and unmanned missions. Just like its stealthy cousin, the B-21 Raider, the F-47 can seamlessly shift between having a pilot in the cockpit or operating autonomously. This built-in flexibility will dramatically lower the risks that pilots can face in dangerous combat situations, while still enabling the option to have human pilots fly or take the controls when the mission demands it. Now, getting back to that system of systems, the F-47 doesn't fight alone. Instead, it serves as the central hub, the quarterback, of an entire fleet of collaborative combat aircraft or CCAs.
Okay.
These advanced drone wingmen significantly expand the fighter's reach and capabilities.
I mean, the days of the fighter pilot must be numbered, because with AI becoming so good, like, and an AI doesn't need to sleep, an AI doesn't need to worry about G-forces, you know, an AI doesn't get paid a salary. If I had to put a guess, like, how long do you reckon fighter pilots are going to be needed for? I think you'll still always need them, but I don't think they'll be flying much. I think they'll be monitoring the planes and making adjustments from like some kind of control center. I reckon 10, 15 years max, I reckon. 15, 20 years max, I reckon. What do you think? Am I too pessimistic?
These large drones can carry out high-risk tasks like electronic warfare, recon, and even precision attacks, all while the F-47 oversees operations from a safer distance. This isn't just about technology, it's about rewriting the rules of aerial warfare. Now let's face it, over the past few years, we've seen what drones can do. And for the most part, those were small, off-the-shelf drones adapted to fight. Imagine what fighter-sized drones designed for combat can do.
Scary.
Then imagine dozens of them being controlled by a single F-47. Can you see where this is going?
Scary.
A single F-47 in a drone swarm could ruin an enemy air force's day.
But it also makes me think, you know, with the US like steaming ahead with projects like these, what are China, you know, coming up with, and Russia? Because every country that's, you know, got a strong economy right now is investing really heavily in their military. So it makes me think what other technologies are out there.
Another critical advantage of the F-47 is its long-range capability. Engineered specifically to patrol the massive distances across the Pacific, the aircraft's extended range reduces the constant need for aerial refueling. This means missions last longer, response times are faster, and America's strategic advantage over potential adversaries is preserved, even in regions where friendly bases are few and far between. So, what's in a name? Or in this case, a number? The selection of F-47 for Boeing's groundbreaking NGAD fighter has, of course, many aviation enthusiasts buzzing with speculation. Most intriguingly, the 47 could be interpreted as a subtle nod to our current president, Trump, who, as you know, is the 45th and, more importantly, the 47th president of the United States. This draws a direct parallel between major military projects and presidential legacies. Now, this is a tradition that actually has precedent in the military.
Oh,
for
right.
example,
with the aircraft carrier. Yeah, I think there's an aircraft carrier called the George Washington.
Usually, aircraft carriers are named after former presidents, such as
Roosevelt?
the CV-71, aka the USS Theodore Roosevelt.
Yeah.
However, as of the making of this video, there's been no official confirmation of this symbolic link, leading, of course, to alternative theories. And we know the internet likes its theories. Some people speculate that the Air Force simply continued sequential numbering following the F-35 Lightning, with a higher number designation to emphasize its generational leap. Another theory suggests that the 47 might reference a significant internal milestone within Boeing or even the Air Force,
Potentially.
such as 2047, the target date for full operational deployment. Now, even that's got sort of a precedent. The B-52, of course, flew in 1952, and that was one of the reasons it received that designation. So
I think you would hope that it would be sooner than 2047, though, like full operational deployment. You know, you would think it would be well before that, no?
The whole name it after a year thing is not unheard of. Regardless, whatever the true inspiration behind the number, it undeniably adds to the mysterious and intrigue surrounding America's newest fighter, which is already making the F-47 name both memorable and historic. Now again, this isn't just another advanced fighter. The F-47 NGAD is a dramatic shift, one that aligns directly with the evolving threats that are facing the US military today. In fact, the most direct parallel you could make is China's J-36, which flew recently.
Wow, the shape on it. I mean, these planes are looking more and more futuristic as the years go by. Like, it's almost like a triangle shape. Like, the wings are like completely, you know, almost non-distinguishable from the actual body of the plane.
I've done a whole video on that airplane. You can check that out after this one. Link in the description below. Indeed, the F-47 marks Boeing's return to the forefront of air combat innovation and reaffirms America's commitment to air dominance for decades to come. Remember, over at Boeing, the F-18 Super Hornet production is finally winding down, and while the F-15EX or Eagle II is ramping up, the acquisition of the F-47 contract basically puts Boeing in the front of military aviation manufacturing again. Now, make no mistake, the F-47 isn't just here to join the fight, it's here to change the game entirely. And we're only beginning to understand what the F-47 can do. Ultimately, Boeing's groundbreaking victory with the F-47 doesn't just benefit one company.
Quick question, guys. Do you think, because I think the budget for the military last year was approaching $1 trillion. Let's say it was like $900 billion. Would you maintain that amount of money being spent on the military, seeing how, you know, much weaker Russia's military is compared to what we thought it was? Like, or would you divert, let's say, 10% of that towards infrastructure upgrades, education, you know, other, you know, areas of the US where funds could be really, really used well? Like, because let's say you take 10%, the military budget would still be 800 billion US dollars, and then you'd have like 80 billion to invest in some other area. Like, would you do that, or would you keep all of that money, you know, for the military?
It reshapes the entire American aerospace industry. In fact, with Boeing now leading the NGAD fighter project, Lockheed Martin producing the proven and ever-upgradable F-35 Lightning, and Northrop Grumman handling both the stealthy B-21 Raider and the Navy's next-generation fighter, the F/A-XX.
F/A-XX.
Each of America's aerospace giants now hold critical major defense programs. Along with each major company having at least one massive project, these moves could start to shift manufacturing jobs back to the United States and its closest allies. And remember, competition is always a good thing. This healthy distribution of projects across multiple companies basically creates an intensely, fiercely competitive environment, which is exactly what the industry needs to stay sharp. Remember, healthy competition drives innovation. This ensures that each manufacturer pushes technological boundaries to deliver superior performance, efficiency, and capability.
Very true.
Moreover, spreading vital contracts among several companies mitigates the risk of over-depending on a single vendor. It promotes more robust supply chains, and if COVID taught us anything, it's the importance of supply chains, and also supports thousands of high-quality American jobs across multiple regions. In essence, Boeing's NGAD win sets the stage for decades of dynamic innovation, robust job creation, and unmatched technological advancement.
I mean, if it looks like how we think it's going to look, I want to go see it in person if possible. probably impossible, but
further solidifying America's status as the global leader in aerospace and military aviation. In the end, Boeing's dramatic victory in the NGAD competition marks much more than just another defensive contract. For Boeing, it signals the resurgence for a company eager to reclaim its legendary status and ensures America's aerospace giants, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and Northrop Grumman, each have a critical role in shaping our nation's defense. Make no mistake, the F-47 NGAD is already a game changer, and it's being tailor-made for today's high-stakes Pacific theater and blends manned and unmanned capabilities that will lead a new era of air warfare. From narrowly escaping cancellation to securing its place as America's fighter of the future, the F-47's journey has been seen as dramatic and it's been groundbreaking. It may end up being the ultimate comeback story of all time for Boeing.
I mean, let's see.
But now I want to hear from you.
Great video. I mean, I really want to see some, official footage from Boeing if possible, which I know is going to be unlikely because they're going to want to keep it under wraps because of competition, adversaries, getting, hold of like confidential information. But yeah, I would love to see it. And I'm sure, eventually some stuff might leak. I'm going to do some digging because yeah, it looks like an amazing plane. If it ends up looking like these models, I mean, wow. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.